Welcome on in, everyone. This is the Roundtable for CLNS. I'm Lauren Campbell. I'm joined by Adam Belue and Nick Quaglia today. We're here to discuss something that's currently happening as the Red Sox are taking on the Yankees at the moment. And per usual, the offense is struggling. And I know you guys kind of want to talk about that. So let's just jump right in. What's going on with this offense, guys?
The absence of David Ortiz on this team, I didn't think it was going to be this visible in the beginning of the season, but it is brutal to be where they're at right now. It's every single night. You continue to look, as the game goes on, your pitchers are doing great. Overall, the starting rotation, aside from maybe a game from Rick Porcello, has been fine. They've given you multiple chances to win these games, and your offense just will not produce. And it's like how Adam said something last night in our group chat in the midst of mine and Mike's little debacle over Xander Bogaerts. It's not that people like Bogaerts aren't hitting doubles, their slugging percentage aren't skyrocketing. It's that he may get on, but then nobody's moving him over. Or there's nobody on base. We're not stringing together base hits. And that's been a major issue. And it's poor Chris Sale. Chris Sale's got an ERA, I believe it's below 1 still. If not, it's definitely below 2. And he's pitching games where he's pitching out of his mind. He's pitching great baseball, and the offense will not produce for him. He's going to end the season with a ridiculous loss record, but with an ERA that's Cy Young worthy.
Yep, he's going to go 1-15 with a 1.02 ERA, and it's absolutely brutal. And like you said, the absence of Ortiz, and I got to give it to Jess. He called it at the beginning of the season. He said it's going to be huge, and now we're seeing it. We don't have that big voice. We don't have that veteran leadership that we got with Ortiz. And I mean, how many times have there been, the game last night and games last week, games all season where there's men on base, or there's a time where when we think, oh, if David Ortiz is in this situation, like this is a perfect situation with David Ortiz. Game's on the line. There's 2 on, 2 out.
Last night, we don't have Josh Rutledge.
I was there, and it was awful. I was like, why? Oh, my God, this is awful. Like, this is a perfect opportunity for Ortiz, and he's not there. And
but you have...
Adam, did we lose you? All right. Looks like we might have lost Adam for a second, but we'll continue the conversation. So,
oh, come on. Really?
Oh, we found Adam.
Oh, there he is.
All right, there we go.
All right, Adam, continue. What were you saying?
All right, what I'm saying is I don't think Ortiz is as big of a deal as people are making it out to be. He's only one of 9 guys. You can say, oh, well, if Ortiz was up in the 9th inning last night, but it's a 1 in 9 chance that that's his spot, even if he's in the lineup. I mean, him not being here has nothing to do with these guys struggling or these guys not stringing together hits. I mean, they have a good batting average. They just don't string it together. And I think it has more to do with the fact that John Farrell is an idiot and hasn't seen that maybe I should mix up my lineup. Maybe I shouldn't have Xander Bogaerts batting 6th. Maybe I shouldn't have Mookie Betts batting 3rd when he should be leading off. I shouldn't have Pedroia, who's struggling before he got hit by Machado's cleat because Machado's a dirty player. Maybe I shouldn't have him leading off because he's not producing. You can't have Hanley Ramirez batting 4th. He sucks right now.
So where are you going to put Hanley Ramirez, and who are you going to bat 4th?
I put him on the bench for a couple games and have somebody else play. But you gotta try things here. And I'm not really that worried, to be honest, because they're batting. You look at their lineup. They have 4 guys batting over 300. They lead the majors in batting average. They're just not stringing it together. You're looking at 20 games. It's not that. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think they're fine.
Because when you're leading the league in batting average, you should be winning more games. You should be stringing together.
I understand.
It blows my mind that this, like you said, they lead the league in batting average. They can't string it together. And I'm not putting all the blame that Ortiz isn't there, but I'm putting some of it on there because he had such an impact on this team.
But what does him being there have to do with the guy batting like 7th in the lineup?
Because of leadership. I don't think people are going to grasp this until the end of Hanley's contract. David Ortiz means so much to Hanley Ramirez, and he helps Hanley so much. And okay, if you do have to move Hanley,
well, whose fault is that? Hanley's a grown man.
Because that's how human nature is. You grow attached to somebody, and then you treat them like a father figure. I don't care how old I am. I'm looking up to my dad for the rest of my life. That's just how things go. This guy came up when he was a rookie. He saw David Ortiz as a stud in the Red Sox system who just joined. It was early on. Hanley Ramirez was coming up through the Red Sox farm system and then found this guy as a mentor. And with David Ortiz's help last year, I attribute Hanley's success a ton to David Ortiz and his focus. I know he's a grown man, but he's a grown man with flaws, and we've seen these flaws. We've seen these flaws where he can't focus. And without David Ortiz there, I think his focus is going to be a major issue because who's going to reel him in?
So whose fault is that? That's Hanley's fault. That's not David Ortiz. That's Hanley's fault.
So how do you fix Hanley then? He's a child. We understand that. Look at him. He looks in the camera when he hits a home run. He puts his face in the lens. Probably pisses off the camera guy to no end because then he's got to squeak off the lens with a cloth. He's a grown man. I get it. He's a grown man, but he needs somebody to guide him, which was David Ortiz.
Right. So you have the manager. You have the manager guide him. You have what about somebody else stepping up in the clubhouse? Maybe.
Like who?
Everybody wants to anoint Dustin Pedroia as the next captain. So
even if somebody does step up, in that clubhouse, they don't replace David Ortiz. They don't.
I'm not saying to replace David Ortiz.
Well, no, not replace him, but they don't have that same effect that Ortiz would have because he meant so much to that organization. We saw that year in and year out that he just the team rallied around him, and they don't really have that person to rally around. It's mind-boggling, really, but like you said, Nick, Hanley's a child. He needs somebody to guide him. And
he is.
Yes, Farrell should be guiding him, and but he needs that friend and that father figure, and he needs that just person to lean on, and he doesn't have that without Ortiz. And I could talk about this all day, that Ortiz is part of the reason they're struggling. Like I said, I won't attribute everything to him, but they don't have that big voice, that big bat. It's a huge, huge impact, and it's a huge difference without him.
Now another major issue though is that bottom third of the lineup. It's horrendous. I like it a lot when Jackie Bradley bats ninth because I think that even though he is struggling right now, I think he's a great ninth guy. He had speed. There's speed in front of the top half of the lineup with him batting ninth. But, my God, Sandy Leon, last time I checked, he was batting .209. His bat is absolute dog crap. It is. But we knew this. I don't know if you guys did, but Sandy Leon has been trash at the plate most of his career, and he's exploded a couple times. Last year was phenomenal, but we know that's not him, and he's showing who he really is right now, and that's why I think Christian Vasquez is going to win your starting job, because Sandy Leon... this is who he is, and this is who we're going to have to deal with for the rest of the season if we continue to rely on him.
Yeah, you can't rely on him, and like you said, last year he had great success. This year he's struggling, and I know it's still April, but it's getting into this part of the season now where I start to either worry or I figure out, I piece together my opinions really on people at this point in the season, and I love Sandy Leon. I was a big advocate for him in the off season, but it gets to a point where I'm all right, what's Farrell going to do with him? I don't care that Sale likes him. I like that Sale likes him. He's got that trust in him, but when it starts to affect your lineup, you've got to score those runs for Sale. You have to, because he's got 10 strikeouts right now and no runs across the board. It's awful.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Nick. I think he needs to. They need to get Vasquez in the lineup more. I mean, he's batting, 450?
His bat's hot.
Yeah, his bat is hot. I mean, why would you take the one bat that you have that's hot, and take him out of the lineup consecutive days? He didn't play yesterday.
Because John Farrell stinks.
I wouldn't want to go against
and I love Bradley Jr. in the 9-hole. I mean, he had his 29-game hitting streak last year in the 9-hole, and then they said, oh, wait, let's move him out of the 9-hole, and then he freaking tanked the second half.
I knew it last year. I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, he's a 9 or a 1 hitter. He's not a middle of the order hitter. I'm sorry. He had one good season where he had some power last year. It's like Jacoby Ellsbury when he had that one good season in Boston where he hit 30 home runs for a fluke, and then you think that he's a 4 hitter and he's batting cleanup. No, he's a leadoff hitter, just like Bradley is.
Yep. And, speaking of leadoff hitters, Pedroia, we all know what happened to him last Friday. And I know, Nick, you've been dying to get on this topic. So, Spark Notes, Manny Machado spiked Pedroia. He was out until today. We are now here on Thursday, so 5 days he was out. Matt Barnes, 4 days he was out. Matt Barnes came in on Sunday, 2 days after he was hit, after he was spiked. And Matt Barnes threw at Machado's head. Machado looked to the dugout. Pedroia said, "Hey, it's not me." After the game, Pedroia was like, "Yo, that's not baseball. That's not how you do it." Basically threw Barnes under the bus. And I'm going to hand it right over to Nick because I know you've been dying to get on this.
I lost a lot of respect for Dustin Pedroia with this. Because, yeah, I understand that you're probably friends with Manny Machado because that's how sports are now. Everybody's buddy-buddy. Everybody hangs out at the All-Star games. There are these big tournaments. Everybody's friends. So I hate that part of baseball now because he's defending. He's telling Manny Machado, "This wasn't me. I didn't tell these guys to do this." So instead of having your teammates back, who you're with 162 games at minimum every single year, plus spring training, you're gonna defend yourself to the guy who, whether or not he did it on purpose, who spiked you in the leg and took you out for a couple games in Baltimore. Come on, Dustin.
Yeah, this is where I have the issue with it. Like when he was like, "It's not right. It's not baseball." That is baseball. That's your teammates sticking up for you. Retaliation happens. We've seen it 100 times over and over and over again. And I don't have an issue. I said this on Red Sox Beat that I don't have an issue with when Machado looked to the dugout. Pedroia's like, "Yo, it wasn't me." I don't have an issue with that. I have an issue with what he said after the game and like throwing his teammates under the bus. You're supposed to be a leader. You're supposed to be, that veteran leader on this team. You don't throw your teammates under the bus. And you don't throw at someone's head either. That's another topic for another day. You don't throw at someone's head.
Exactly. Ribs are below.
Yeah, all the time. But you don't throw your own teammates under the bus because that's your teammate, that's your family, and that you just don't do it. And it threw me for a loop because I know Pedroia's always spoke his mind no matter what, and I always respected him for that. And I don't like how he handled this situation at all.
Yeah, see, I have a problem with the apology on the field too. Like, come on, we all know that. We know that if Dustin Pedroia wanted to tell his teammates that, hey, I don't want anything to happen. I don't want retaliation. I don't want to throw at him. Then they wouldn't throw at him. Come on, that's one of the veteran leaders of this team. So, come on, that whole thing was a lie. He should have stood up and said, "Hey, you know what? If you don't want to get thrown at, don't cleat me. You know how to slide into second base. You've done it your entire career. Nobody slides with their cleat up in the air like that."
Yeah, go
by
down,
accident.
Sam
That was
Machado.
done on purpose. That was done on purpose to break up a double play, to injure somebody. So you know what? That was retaliation. I'm sorry. That's how it works. You know what? Good for Barnes, but not good for throwing at his head. But I mean, good for him for stepping up. Yeah, and then Dustin comes and says, "Oh, it's not. Oh, that's not baseball. That's BS."
Yeah, like I said, I don't like how he handled that. You always have to have your teammates back, no matter what. Your family, your team, and that's just what you do. That's baseball, is having your teammates back. That's exactly what baseball is. And with that being said, guys, I will always have your backs, no matter what. This has been our CLNS Roundtable for Nick Quaglia and Adam Belue. I'm Lauren Campbell. Thanks for listening.